Hey everyone, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today I'm going to talk about exactly what I promised the last trading card game episode. We're going to talk about basically how to structure a deck that after you find a combo or consistent deck that seems to win or just looks good on paper. So let's start with that. First off, you need to learn what the weaknesses are of the deck and what the strengths are. But of course, as all decks, a weakness will depend on, obviously, the bottom left-hand corner of each of your main attackers, because this is basically the number one weakness that you have in the deck. And say you're using Yemega and Kingdra Prime. Or say your opponent's using Yemega Prime and Kingdra Prime, and you have one lightning type Pokemon in the deck. Are you going to rush to get that one Pokemon out just so you can try to take some prizes off your opponent? Probably not. You're probably going to set the strategy like you have and attempt to win that way because you're more familiar with it. And we'll get to teching the deck to where you can obviously win in certain situations. But for now, what we're going to do is just talk about building the deck overall. Now, we're just going to take a few cards out of consideration. Say you're wanting to build a deck and it consists of, I'm just making something up, say Superior and Reuniclus. Okay, those two Pokemon have a pretty good flow going there because one of them moves the damage counters around, and at the in between turns, if you spread the damage counters right, you can remove a certain number of damage counters at the number superior you have in play from your Pokemon between turns, and therefore you're just basically getting rid of a whole bunch of damage, and it sounds like a good idea, but there's only one problem. That's right. If you haven't figured it out, and which most of you probably have, the deck has two Stage 2 Pokemon and is pretty slow to set up. So what you probably end up having to do is use cards like Twins or something to help you get back into the game, Black Belt to power up Superior or Reuniclus's attack, stuff like that. So for now, we're just going to say, since you're using two Stage 2 Pokemon, you just want to cancel the idea out, period. Because as most good players know, there is no player in this game who would use Superior and Reuniclus in a combo together and expect to win states, regionals, something like that. Battle Roads, maybe. City Championships, it depends on the crowd. But the bigger tournaments, there is absolutely no way it'll happen. And that's what we'll catch on. Because I'm not here to try to help the ones who just want to play Rogue for fun. I'm here the ones who want to use Rogue to try to win their way to the top, obviously, like I told you guys before. And I'm really the only one who's done most of this before. There's a few players other than me, but so we're just going to get right to it. Most of your, well, let me put it this way. If you're watching this video and you're trying to use this strategy, trust me, use a deck that is fast. It sets up fast. If your deck isn't fast, it doesn't get the first prize. It does not have the big advantage that you think it would have. And overall, really, it just will tear an opponent up. And when I try to say that in an apparent matter, all I'm saying is that if your opponent sets up slower than you do, or you set up slower than your opponent, the one who sets up slower is going to probably be able to take the first prize, but the one who can keep it going is the one who's going to win. And obviously, we're going to work on building the deck and making it fast, but we're also going to keep the consistency going in the deck. As far as combos go, we're good on combos. Or if you found a combo, then great, keep it. If you just found two cards or 3 or 4 Pokemon all together that just make a really good deck, and you feel that after testing just the Pokemon or just looking at the cards and looking over comparisons, make sure it's not too slow of a deck. If you have 3 or 4 Pokemon, I'm hoping that all of them are basic or maybe 1 or 2 stage 1s. If they're 1 stage 2, the rest of them better be basic. Maybe 1 stage 1. It's going to be too slow, and you don't want to have to offer rare candy in decks that require 3 or 4 different Pokemon in the game, obviously. Now, say most combos use 2 or 3 Pokemon, or consistent decks overall that just seem to win. So we're going to stick with 2 Pokemon. Now, say we've got a combo going, okay? Now for this one, say we're using Donphan Prime and Blissey Prime. Very great combo, very rogue. Not too many players are fond of this matchup, and the reason why is because all you do is attach that 1 fighting energy to your active Donphan, and you don't attach any of the rest of the until damage is racked up enough. As soon as you play Blissey Prime onto a bench Chansey, all that damage is taken off every one of your Pokemon, and that 1 fighting energy goes to the discard pile. And maybe, just maybe, there's a Donphan on the bench with some damage or no damage with an energy, and it might or might not go off. Something like that. That is a combo. Consistency, for say, would be Pokemon like say Espeon and Blossom. I mean, it sounds weird, I know, but in contradictory statement, you would be removing 3 damage counters from your Pokemon on your turn and taking 4 more from anyone in your field and moving it to the other side of the field with Espeon's attack. Now, yeah, go ahead and laugh. That combo really is not that great, but if you're really gonna attempt that at cities, let me know if you're going to the marathon. You're gonna try something like Espeon Blossom. That'd be funny. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that when you're looking for a combo, make sure the combo makes sense, because if it doesn't really make sense, then there's really no use in throwing together the combo. Now, consistency itself needs to be to where you can set it up fast and keep it going. Something like Espeon Blossom might take a while to get Blossom on the field, but as soon as Espeon hits, you can start using Solar Suggestion and moving damage counters from your side of the field to your opponent's side of the field in any way you like. So, therefore, it's basically just hit and give type situation. And the deck really isn't that fast, but if you use something like that, you'd obviously have to use rare candy and so forth. But say you had a deck that used, and this is just an example, say you used, no, I'm not going to use that as a sample. I was about to say Slowbro, but nah. Actually, nah. Let's use Licky Licky. Licky Licky and Electro. You've heard me talk about that in the last video. Okay? This is a combo. An example of a really good combo that uses 2 stage 1 Pokemon, and they try to work together in sniping your opponent out for so much damage, counting the amount of energy attached to Licky Licky. Now, the first thing you think is that I need a lot of energy in the deck. Second thing you think is I need a way to get those energy back. And third thing you think about is I need stuff like twins and maybe a few black belts if I decided to attack the active Pokemon. Like that. Now, the reason you'd think about using twins and black belt is because Electro knocks itself out, looks at the top 7 cards of your deck, attaches all energy you can find there in any way you like, and then discard the other cards. Electro being knocked out means your opponent takes a prize. You're down your opponent's prizes, which means they got more than you do. So now you can use a twins, and when you keep using twins, when your opponent's having when your opponent has, or you have more cards than your opponent in the prizes, that means you'd be getting the certain cards that you want, get them out in the field as fast as possible, and then start doing the damage you need to. It could be you're getting another pair for Electrode. Voltorb, when next turn, Electrode. Knock out, get more energy, and then you keep going that way. That's an obvious example as a combo. Plus, you'd also, number 4, and most important, use something like double colorless energy. So that's combo. Now let's go to a really good, consistent match. Now, say you were using, and I really mean this. This is actually not that bad of a deck. Okay, try Steelix Prime. Okay, these cards will have nothing in common, trust me. Steelix Prime with Ninetales, okay, and Vileplume. Alright? Your Vileplume is going to come out later in the game, obviously, but you're not trying to trainer lock your opponent straight on. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get Steelix set up. In the process, when you get it set up, then you get Vileplume out on the field. And then after Steelix is all tanked up, once Vileplume hits the field, then what you do is you basically just stall with Gaia Crush, and you just hit for a consistent 100, have all that metal and fire energy. It sounds like a combo, but it's really not, because you are putting energy in the discard pile as well as drawing to get all those special metals you need out, and then you attach them to Steelix, and then so on and so forth. But it's really not. It's basically you're tanking with a trainer lock, but your tank comes first and then trainer lock later. And the reason you do that is to keep your opponent from coming back in the game mid to late game. But if they're already set up and they don't have to play another trainer card, then yeah, you're screwed. So that's where it's not that great of a deck, but it's definitely not a bad deck. Now, some people would argue that that's a combo, and you could argue, but this next one I'm going to give, since there's no way it's a combo in the world, we must try it. This one is basically just 2 random Pokemon thrown together. And it's Lantern Prime and Mega Prime. These 2 Pokemon have nothing in common. Step being stage 1 and different types. All you do is use 3 different types to match up against weakness. If Mega Prime is up and running, you could use something like a Selgor from the Noble Victories when it comes out, and basically use a Mega Selgor combo. But if you had something like Lantern Prime in there, it could do good against some of the matchups that you don't like, that are very popular. Let's just put it that way. So you come up against another Kingdra Mega, you would use Lantern, or Donphan, or Typhlosion, Reshiram, something like that. You would also use Lantern. And with only the need of 1 lightning and a double colorless, or obviously 1 lightning, 2 other energy, you can basically do so much damage, and it really hurts the opponent in some ways, and in some ways it doesn't. So, with that being said, you pretty much now know what a combo is, what consistency is, and the difference between the 2. So, which would you rather have? Most players prefer combos, and most rogue decks tend to be combos. And the reason why is because most metagame decks are either combos, but the ones that aren't, that are just consistent combos, are the ones that win all the time, because all they do is attack, 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 attack. Now that is something like Yanmega, Donphan, Kingdra, Magnus, any combination of Yanmega or Kingdra or Magnezone or Chino or something like Yanmega attack, that's considered consistency. All it does is protect Yanmega Prime in matchups that it doesn't fare against. So, with that being said, your rogue deck needs to be fast. The first one you build needs to be fast, which means put in a bunch of collector, communication, dual balls, junk arms, stuff like that. Avoid Vileplume if you can, just avoid it. It is probably the hardest card to play with if you're just trying to start out building a rogue deck. Now, to end the video, I will say this. If you are trying to figure out what a good Trainer Stadium supporter line is for decks, look on my previous deck lists. They're pretty much straightforward in their trainer line, with exception of Eevee Raid. That deck is actually teched to perfect, if you know what I mean. Like a top, that will be about on next episode, so you do know. So basically, that's it. Next episode, obviously, like I said, tech to perfect. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me about any question you may have about this. I should have said something in other videos, but if you don't understand anything that I've been saying in this video, if there's certain points you need me to point out even further, go ahead and contact me. I'm more than glad to help you, and no one really gets on my nerves. So if you just keep asking question after question and keep having to need points proven or something, then I mean, I'm not here to be stepped on like a playmat, but I'm just telling you right now, if you have serious questions that you need to be answered, feel free to contact me, and please subscribe, post any comments you have in the comment section down below, and as always, have a great day. And next time, I'll talk about, obviously, teching to perfect next time. That's Shifty's Club.